Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and I use astrology to work with entrepreneurs and their teams to thrive in business and their personal lives because it is absolutely possible. Welcome to the October 16th Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about how life is getting more and more intense, and these next 3 weeks are key to setting yourself up for the last 2 weeks of the year so that you enter 2025 knowing what is happening and what you're ready to do. We talk about how to pace yourself and how to look for the path forward. Listen to our conversation so you'll know what to do day by day, and I'll see you on the other side. And we have 3 weeks to cover because the first, there are 5 Wednesdays in October. So we meet the 1st and 3rd. So we'll be covering 3 weeks, and it's actually perfect timing. So we will meet again in November. We get a week off, and hopefully, there surprisingly is not a ton of different things happening, but the things that are going on are continuing and escalating and growing. So I think it's giving us plenty to work with. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my slides. And while I'm doing that, how are things going for you guys? Always love to hear that. What is, you can put in the chat. I'm going to open up my chat. What's going well? Anything at all. What is going well? I made flyers.
Around here is very quiet.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and we, I am in south of Spain, so the last 10 days we had the first rain for this summer. So fall now has started, yeah. So, and this is very good, yeah, because we need the rain, yeah.
Excellent. So do we. And we're
Yeah.
actually getting a little bit right now, which is great. Hey, Jean, welcome. Oh my God, so great to have you. Whoa. That is fantastic. Congratulations, man. That is a huge win. Jean, we're just putting wins in the chat, or feel free to mute yourself. I know this is your first time. So I've been meeting some of my neighbors recently because my cat has been gone for 2 days. And so I've made flyers and have been knocking on doors and meeting them and hearing about his adventures that I had no idea about. So still hoping he comes back, and feeling optimistic. But there is a lot going on, and so I'm going to start sharing my slides. And here we go. We are in mid-October, and it is, just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And Jane, this is your first time. Welcome. This might be a lot to look at, but I'm just going to point out a few things. It's always great to have new people. And what I try to make sure of is that there isn't as much astrology speak, but more, I'll point out a few things. But if you just listen and watch the movement, then that's always kind of fun. Hey, Shannon, welcome. So this is a snapshot of the universe at noon in Berkeley, where at noon, the sun is always going to be above the horizon. So this is the sun, and you can see all the color coding here. The ones on the right tend to be the planets we can actually see, whereas all of these other ones are like, we know they're out there, and sometimes we can see them, but not all of them. And the planets move in this direction as we watch them in the sky. And right now, Sun is still in Libra. Mercury here has moved into Scorpio, and Venus is way ahead at the end of Scorpio. And if you're out here in California and you have a line of sight into the west at after sunset, you can see this comet still to the right of Venus. And that is, I've been trying, and it's really cool. But here is Mars. Mars is about commitment. Mars is about putting your heart into something. And this Cancer style is your intuition. So it's putting your heart into your intuition. And intuition is not something we can explain. It's not something we can logically walk through. And so when you're putting into your heart into something that you can't explain, it's very difficult to tell people why you're doing this. And what's happening also right now is that, see, this is Mars, where we put our hearts. But this energy of Pluto is our New Year's resolution of I'm doing everything I can to get myself to the next level. And so what does it feel like when they are opposite each other? It's like, I am trying so hard to get myself to the next level, but at the same time, I'm putting my heart into something that feels like it's taking me backward. And this stretch is kind of the intensity that is going on in all of our lives, whether or not we see it in our own lives. It's really, or whether we can explain it or talk about it, we can see it in the world. And this is the challenge that we're working on, especially for the next 7 months. So just heads up that this is helping me just come to terms with reality. And just knowing that that's how it is and that there is a timeline for it, I hope just can help you ground and settle and know that there is this process we'll all go through, and there is actually some hope coming. So does that help orient both of Shannon and Jean a little bit about where the energy is right now?
I actually
So
have some questions because I'm still learning Panda. So they seem kind of in opposition to one another, right? But at the end of the day, could you question, like, if those were your intentions at the beginning of the year, but your intuition is causing you to move a different direction, isn't it the most critical thing to follow whatever your intuition is telling you? Because at the end of the day, that's kind of your compass, if you will, internally.
yes. And the key thing is a timeline. So, if you were going through I'm trying to clean up my house. I actually am trying to clean up my house. And I have a complete mess. So I can't just completely organize right now from here. I almost have to move everything out and create a bigger mess, but it is serving the bigger good of getting my house organized. So if you had a small kid, you'd be like, I'm making a mommy, I thought you wanted to clean up. But yeah, I am really. But this is what has to happen. And it's this Mars will eventually catch up here. It's just going to be a process. And we'll get there, but there's a lot to work through in the meantime. If you've ever had to do a major cleanup, you know what I'm talking about. So that was a great point. Jean, is that resonating for you? Okay. So last time we spoke, we talked a little bit about how there may have been some unexpected news that came up last week related to one-on-one relationships, and you might have to act on them right away, starting at the end of last week into this week, and that may still be going on. And there may be some big feelings that are coming up with this. And we're going to keep exploring that thread, but just know that the people in our lives are part of that journey to go into the next level. And that is time and energy that is well worth that, putting that effort in to get them on the same page to decide, actually, are we working together or not? Are we going to keep collaborating or not? And if we are, then it's almost like, how are we going to take these 7 months and like get ourselves together and just recognize that it isn't going to happen overnight, but with both parties allowing that vulnerability in to be honest with our feelings and to say, how can we do this? I want this. That's how we move forward. And that's a little bit of a journey as well. Okay, so here we are today. Here is what I was talking about with the sun here, opposite Chiron, that energy of things having a plan, but having it not turn out the way you expected. And there, Mercury had gone through first, and see it's ahead. And now the sun is now opposite, and we're finishing up that work today. And then things kind of get to settle for a little bit. Come on. And on the 22nd, so a week from yesterday, Venus goes into that next Mercury portal. So Venus is about receiving. Venus is about taking in. And Mercury in Sagittarius will be thinking about, Mercury is thinking, and Sagittarius is that energy of what's possible. What is the big picture? What is the path forward? What do I need to know? What do I need to share with someone? And so I see this as possibilities, as opportunities, as filling in the gaps. And that Venus moving through the portal before Mercury's even gotten there is like getting the opportunities to say, oh, okay, something's going to come where I'll get to learn that or get to share that. So from this period of time, as Venus is moving through this portal, it's like getting that heads up, be on the lookout for later that opportunity to do something. So let's keep ticking through here. Because what is so cool is that Venus, the Mercury portal, is opposite this Jupiter over here. Now, over the summer, from July 15th until early October, your mindset, your awareness was expanding. So if you are thinking about the big picture and you're connecting it to how your mindset expanded, it's as though you're saying, how do I take what I learned and make it practical, use it to find a way forward? All that expansion, all that growth that you had is now coming into play. Does that make sense? And the opportunities, it's like, okay, I'm going to get it. And it's wonderful that Venus comes first to open it up for us. So Venus will keep doing that for a little while. In the meantime, Mercury then goes opposite the Uranus portal of how all of us have restructured our presence, the way we show up. And if during this time right now, you are feeling that about how you've changed, how someone else has changed, and how that is affecting your relationship, this is the time, October 28th, that you get to have this conversation. And what's lovely is we might be feeling it right now, but we don't have enough information yet to have a full conversation, because this Venus will start bringing in ideas helping us see the bigger picture. And this will enable us to have a fuller conversation that is more informed. And so if you're already starting to talk about how you feel or how the other person feels, how are we going to collaborate? Let that conversation extend for a while. Does that make sense? Or does that land for people of like, I've already started having this, but just knowing that I'm not going to come to the full, like all of it situation is okay. It gives us time to process. Anyone else? Okay. On the 30th, it's exact. So potentially a good day to have that conversation. You might be drawn to it, or the other person might be calling on you to have a conversation. And it finishes. So it's just about 4 days through there. But notice that the sun is coming up behind. So that will be the follow-up action that happens after the conversation. So you have the discussion, and then you'll get to do something about it afterwards. And in the meantime, Mercury is still moving across from the Jupiter portal, letting you know about ideas and seeing how the big picture is coming together. And then on November 2nd, Mars will be exactly across from where this Pluto portal is. And it happens for a few days. And on the 3rd, it is exact. Now, in the US, this is a crucial time where people are going to be, this is, if you have felt the energy escalating of people shooting from the hip, things coming out of nowhere with a lot of energy and intensity behind it, it is continuing to build from now until then. And I'm going to say starting to peak here as it's exactly opposite. And Venus opposite Jupiter on the same way is possibilities. So there may be actions in the world, you may take action where you just are so absolutely committed and certain of what to do because you feel like there is this possibility. And others around you may be doing the same thing. So I'm looking for this to be a pretty big day. We'll just see how it turns out. And Mars goes into Leo. And this Mars of putting your heart, but now with the Leo style, it's like you can now explain it. You can come to the table and say, this is what I have to offer. It will feel like you're absolutely confident and will want to show what you bring to the table. And then the next day, Venus is opposite the end of the Jupiter portal. So all that time, we're getting opportunities for the way forward. And the next day, Mercury leaves that Mercury portal. So from October 22nd to November 5th, that's that period of time to be looking for ways to start putting everything that you've learned over the summer into action or into thinking about the way things are going to move forward. And I believe one more day, we meet again on the 6th. So that's a lot over 3 weeks. Let's go back. And as I'm doing that, any questions, you can type them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. But hopefully you are tapping into that in your own lives and recognizing how you'll be able to work through this and how it unfolds, not overnight, but over time, and knowing yourself and your practices, how to ground yourself, because this is hard work. Okay. So things to watch again. These planets moving forward, Mercury is going to start moving a little faster and create more space between Mercury and the sun. And Mars is kind of slowing down as it moves into close to where it's going to retrograde. So, and then the moon, this is always fun. The moon moves very fast around here because every 28 days it makes a loop. Okay. Any questions right now? We're going to go into a little bit of a summary and just kind of orienting you to the time frames. So, close relationships, maybe bringing up some strong feelings over the next 3 weeks. And if something is simmering, you can start the conversation, but allow, until the end of this month, start wrapping that up. One conversation this weekend won't solve everything. And the reason is you haven't gotten all the information you need. Things need to happen and unfold. Let that stuff come in, and that will enable you to have a fuller, more complete, more knowledgeable conversation. Hope is coming. Think of it as hope, but I think clarity is hope. And looking for this opportunity for the path forward, how to navigate it with a bit more ease is coming from October 22nd until early November. I think it was November 4th. So this very, 2-week period of time where things are coming in, take notes of those things. Look at what's possible. And at some point, you'll get to choose, you'll get to discuss it, and then you'll get to act on it later. But this is the thing. The opportunities come in. It's like, what are you going to pick for summer camp almost? Your parents go and they find all these opportunities and they come to you and say, which one do you want to do? And you'll know later. So it's likely connected to how you expanded your mindset this summer. And just remember, emotions are continuing to escalate. Emotions are not rational. Allow that space for others. A lot of grace. They're going to want to prove themselves, as you will too. And there will be this period of time in November and December where that energy is very hot. But just allow this all to keep going and make sure you have a good way to release those feelings in yourself, because it's happening for all of us. All right. So just running through these kind of one by one, this sun across the Chiron portal, I just realized I did not fix these diagrams on all of them, ends today. So wrapping up whatever you needed to follow up on. So Venus through the Mercury portal. This is where I did not fix these things. But here is here is Venus here moving through this Mercury portal from October 22nd to November 5th, looking for those opportunities. And then Venus specifically in that same container being specifically opposite the Jupiter portal. Here's the Jupiter portal. Here's the Mercury portal. So seeing the big picture of how that growth is serving you to go forward. And then Mercury opposite the Uranus portal, getting to have that conversation at the very end of this month, allowing the information to come in so that you can do that more effectively, be more productive. And then, November 2nd to the 10th, Mars here going through its portal is opposite the Pluto portal, and it's exact on the 3rd in Cancer. So at the very edge of like, I can't explain it, but I have to do this. And so just be aware that day, a lot of grace. So in summary, the real work to take your life to the next level has started. It's been going on for about a week. Part of this work involves your one-to-one relationships. So take your time the rest of this month for any serious conversations about how you'll be moving forward. And this escalating intensity that you're feeling perhaps in you, around you, that is not quite logical, but you know it's right, will start to peak in early November. It will test your priorities and know what is truly important to you. I think I applauded when I saw like the port strike was averted right at that point where it was either they take the deal or they negotiate for 7 months. And this was that choice. So keep evaluating your priorities. And again, hope and possibility are coming. November and December will be tough, but that's when the Mercury portal is happening to give us the way forward and let us try something and work it through so that we start off 2025 with like knowing what's happening and the way forward. Okay. So just so you guys know, and if you're part of Compass, this is included with you, but just included with your membership in the program or your participation in the program. But I am going to be offering a Mercury VIP experience to allow you over the 2 months to get the checklist you need, the questions you need to guide you through these 2 months with that Mercury portal. There will be 4 calls specifically designed to talk you through your checklist and the actions and opportunities you need to be looking for so that you navigate through the last 2 months of the year and ready for 2025. I just think that it's so crucial to not miss anything during these 2 months so that you know you're kind of set for 2025 and really grounded. So if you join by, I should have said 22nd, then you'll start to know when to start looking for information, and I'll be having a call shortly after that. Okay, questions. I'm going to go to me. Feel free to unmute yourself. I realize it's almost 9 o'clock, so I'm past my 20 minutes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you all feeling about like ease with how things unfold over the next 3 weeks? Excellent. Okay. I see the no now, Min. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And yet, like, there was a Snoopy cartoon where this bird had missed his opportunity to fly south, and he said he was scared. And so the last panel was Snoopy taking him for the cat, sorry, saw Mr. Kitty, taking him by the hand and walking him along the way. And that's what I want to do here. That's what I hope I offer so that you all can make it through. You're not alone on this journey. Any other questions before we go? Okay, yes. All right, Jean, I hope this wasn't overwhelming. I hope it helps you settle. And if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Anyone on the video, comments in the YouTube channel, DM me on Instagram. I'm here. Okay. Have a great
Thank
day,
you.
everyone. I did it in half an hour.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you feel prepared to move easily through these next 3 weeks. There's a lot of work ahead, But don't rush. Take your time and be as thoughtful as possible. And I'll see you next time.